This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Friday, May 21st, 2021, and it's the Relevant Podcast. How is it already May 21st? I'm in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
And from Nashville, Tennessee, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner. And Jamie Ivey is out on assignment today. So sitting in for her, also from Nashville, Relevant senior editor, Tyler Huckabee.
Howdy, everybody.
I'm going to redo the intro. It's the Relevant Dudecast today. The Relevant Dudecast. Sorry to everybody in advance for probably what will happen. But
oh, yeah. Last time it went off the rails. Y'all remember that?
Jamie's not here.
It generally gets... It's generally, I give us about 5 to 8 minutes before it's definitely in the ditch. Like,
it's not that Jamie's like, guys, don't say that. It's the fact that on our screens we see her. And we don't, it's just, she's just a presence that keeps us on the straight and narrow, mostly, unless Jesse talks about enterprising lovemakers. And then,
I don't know. Whenever this happens, I see my career flash before my eyes here when it's all the guys on here, just my reputation, possibly my legal standing. Fortunately, my job is pretty safe because how far on could that go? We're all in it together, sink or swim.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. How long before one of us gets kicked off the internet for good? Where Al Gore just calls and he says, "You're off. You're done."
Jesse, this is actually a good training session for Derek because this is Friday, May 21st. On Monday, the three of us are flying to Wyoming with some other guys to spend a week doing basically a week-long Dudecast without microphones. So this is good. This is good, like prep time for Derek.
Exactly.
I'm scared.
This is a nice warm up. Derek, you're nervous? Why?
Yeah, bro. Cause man, I don't know, man. I don't know what y'all gonna be doing out there in the woods, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro. All I know is every scary movie I've ever seen, it don't end well for the black dude out in the woods.
It's going to be some sort of purge situation.
Right. First to go. Jason, if this is a Jason movie, I'm definitely the first guy to go. Like, I'm excited though. You know what I mean? I heard we're going to do some fishing. You know what I'm saying? So I love fishing.
We'll do some stuff.
I love to do
play
fishing.
Some cards. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time.
No, we don't play cards, man.
No.
You grew
That's
up.
the devil.
You grew up Pentecostal, bro. You supposed to know.
I know
this.
we don't. Yeah.
Is this how long has it been since you guys have been on a flight? Because you guys are all flying out there. Is it new or weird?
For me, it's this trip last year. It was me flying to Wyoming last May.
Yeah.
Literally that's it.
I haven't been on a plane since the pandemic.
It feels like a different lifetime since I've been on a plane. It feels like a vague memory of, like I said, the before times of I'm kind of like nervous about being just back in an airport again and remembering kind of the whole rhythms of all of that. But it's been a while, but I'm kind of excited about the flying experience after having not done it in a while.
I'm not trying to wear a mask for that long, man.
I know. That's the bummer. Is you used to have to wear a mask for 6 hours.
I don't even think about it anymore. I just, slide it on and, I like I was telling you guys last week about the grocery store analogy. If you're in the grocery store and you run into someone the mask is a great excuse not to stop and talk and just continue about your business because you have the plausible deniability of being able to recognize someone. Typically I'm a pretty chatty traveler. I'm making friends the whole way. My seatmates, just, random people were just kind of hanging out. I like it. But I'm just going to go a different approach this year. I feel like the mask thing will really, put a damper on just sort of the friendly rat-a-tat that typically accompanies most of my travel. So it'll be a whole new approach this year.
What did he say?
We may not have time to do all this today, Jesse, but you have one of the best airport run-in stories that I've ever heard in my entire life. So much so that I've done, the weird thing that you do with friends sometimes where you're like, my friend has this story. Like, you're not telling your own story. You're saying this happened to a buddy of mine, and you can see the look on everybody's faces like, this had better deliver, man. If this isn't your story, this better be prime story content. And Jesse's story does deliver.
I need it. You guys are
going to have all week, and Jesse can get into the nitty gritty details. And I'm sure it's been told on this podcast before, so some listener can go try to find the actual episode where it happened.
I don't know if I need to subject listeners to it again, but Derek, I'll regale you, and hopefully I'll have some new travel stories, because even with the mask,
that's true.
I'm still a pretty chummy, it's just my style. I just like people, man.
Yeah.
Good. You said you don't?
No, I'm like you. I don't chit chat small talk with people. I don't know you. I don't need to know you.
Why? But why not?
Because they're going to Topeka. I'm never going to see them again. Why do we need to waste our energy?
It's a low stakes conversation, because you never know. You might keep in touch. Me and the dude in that.
Why would you keep in touch?
Why do you keep in touch with anybody? People, that's the whole point, man.
You have you're living life together.
They can be part of your life.
Bonds.
They can be part of your life.
I don't want the person in Topeka to be part of my life.
Because, okay, I'm going to give you a scenario.
No new friends. Clark, play Drake. No new friends.
That's exactly right.
You're flying. You got a layover in Chicago, but a big storm is blowing through. Okay, and they're canceled all the flights for that night. Thankfully, you've been hanging out with a bunch of random people at one of those little fake Irish pubs that's in the airport, and you all go in on a hotel room together, and you back out at the last second because you realize it's a pretty bad plan, because these are perfect strangers and you're going to sleep.
Why would you get a hotel room with strangers?
Because it's any of that or sleeping in the airport. I'm just saying.
Sleep in a hotel room with people I don't know. I would rather sleep in the airport.
I almost did that. That was an exact circumstances that happened to me, and I almost did it. And I probably would have been murdered in that hotel room, but it made for a great story if I would have survived.
Oh my gosh!
Sometimes you roll the dice in life.
It's like you're advocating for talking to people in the airport. So because potentially it may escalate to the opportunity to get a hotel room with them, where who knows what will happen to you. That is not a selling point.
Or you, like you said, you end up with a lifelong friend. Who knows? I've met people that at airports, and we were like, we should text, keep up. If you're passing through, hey, who knows? Well, I just don't see the harm in it, guys. I just don't see the harm in it.
No, I'm Team Jesse here. I love the stop and chats. When I'm at the when I'm at the airport, you got a few minutes to yourself. If you got a coffee shop, a bar, a restaurant, sit down, strike it. You never know. I've had some great conversations. I've gotten great advice at the airport. I remember some of the marriage advice I got. Because I was waiting to go propose to Liz before I was chilling out at the airport. Told everybody there about it. People started telling me giving me good marriage. It was a really fun experience. Yeah, talk to people in airports.
You don't know where these people are coming from. They may be
I'm still married, so it couldn't have been that bad advice.
Could have been their fifth marriage. You don't know what happened. They could have killed their first 3 wives.
They know it doesn't work.
But real talk, isn't meeting people and talking to people the whole point? The point is
to get from point A to point B.
I'm not talking about the point of traveling. I'm talking about the whole point of life. I'm talking about the whole point of life. Aren't we supposed to be out there chopping it up? Isn't that just part of the whole deal? Hey, you're a human. I'm a human. We're in the same place right now. We could and exchange ideas and converse and really give value and color and fullness and richness, if not to somebody's life.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 6.
I've never flown and not made a new friend. And I refuse to stop. I refuse. No mask will stop me.
You're the person I dread to sit next to me.
No. I'm not pestering. I'm not pestering people who obviously don't value my friendship. Okay. If I get vibes from somebody that didn't want me to talk, I'm not a psycho. Okay. I'm not just finding the most ornery person with giant Bose noise canceling headphones and putting myself right in their face.
I wear the over the ear, so there's no missing. You know what I mean?
I leave all you grumpy curmudgeons alone. Okay, the party's going on over on the exit row seat aisle, because we're having a lot of fun talking the whole time about hypothetical scenarios.
I have to say, I've never been called something that I don't know what it means.
A curmudgeon.
Call me a
curmudgeon. Like a crotchety old guy.
Grumpy.
This is the first time.
When Jesse and I travel, I will book me at the window seat, and Jesse can get the aisle seat, and I'll sit there with my headphones on, and he'll start talking to everybody else around him. Like, he just kind of has a radius of friends, and I'm just like hanging out with my music.
Okay, there's two types of people in life. All right, I learned
Me
this.
and you.
I learned this when I was like 8 years old. You're the type of person where if you kick the soccer ball over the fence, they toss it back and maybe even hop over and kick it around with you.
I pop it.
Then there's the type that lived behind me as a kid. Okay,
Yeah.
I would run up to climb up on top of the swing set, be like, "Hey, can you give that soccer ball back?" It was an old man, and he wouldn't even say a word. He just would go, and he had the same giant leaf bag that had like 8 of my Nerf footballs in there, and he would wordlessly just take it out of his shed and put my soccer ball in there. He just kept them in a bag. In his mind, there are hard lines in life. Okay, the ball comes over the fence. It's now his problem. Okay, then there's the type like me. A ball comes over. Hey, someone's hooping. Maybe I'll get in a game with him. Maybe we'll go pick. It's just the two
Jesse,
people.
did that dude steal your balls for real, bro?
That is a true story. That is a absolutely true story. Every ball that went over the fence. To be fair, we were kicking balls over that fence all the time. But how hard is it? How hard is it to just toss them back over? That's what I'm saying. All
right. Well, we have a great show in store for you today, despite the fact that Jamie's not here. Coming up later, one of our favorite authors, hip hop artist, activist, Sho Baraka is joining us.
Guy.
He has a new book out called He Saw That It Was Good. And it's about how creativity and the arts can be part of the fight for justice and equality in the world. It's awesome. That's coming up. And also for our Quarterlife Conversation, author Jennifer Dukes Lee joins us with some tips about eliminating stress and hustle from your post-COVID lifestyle. You don't want to miss that. Oh, and at the end of the show, we got a good one. We got a good little game. Tyler's throwing together a good little game for you. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Oh my God.
It's different. It's a little
It's different. It's not a trivia thing.
This is a little. This is. It's
easy, like a brain teaser almost. It's like a brain teaser game. You gotta.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's easier.
It's good.
I don't know if it's easier or harder, but it's not. It's. I changed track. We'll say that. We'll get
this. There's no multiple choices. There's no whatever. It's a totally different type of game. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. We got relevant news and a lot more. Stay tuned right now. Up next, it's Slices.
The money till there's no more to be made, and we will be so wealthy I'm absolved from questioning that all my bad behavior was just a necessary stray. They're the stakes in the race to win.
You're listening to Japanese Breakfast. The song is Savage Good Boy. Well, today's episode is brought to you by podcast creation platform Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor yet, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's free. There are custom tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and every major platform. The cool thing is you can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
What do you have, Jesse?
All right, I have a good old-fashioned twofer this week. The first one is about a good man. His name is Criss Angel. He's the mind freak, guys. Okay,
gosh.
we know all about Criss Angel. He is a sweet magician who just happens to be a victim of some very, very unfortunate fashion decisions. He's known as much for his kind of corny magic show as he is for his bold embrace of the Weird Isle from Hot Topic his whole career. But Criss Angel's doing something pretty cool. So Criss Angel has a young 7-year-old son who is a cancer survivor. And, it's a really heartwarming story. Him and his son are really close. And he would take his son outside of Las Vegas, about an hour outside of town, and they would go dirt biking a lot, especially when he was going through his cancer treatments. a way to kind of do something fun, bond with his son, kind of let him experience something cool. And they would frequently eat at a restaurant out there, kind of way out in the desert. Well, Criss Angel, as we all are well aware, he's done pretty well for himself. Okay, Criss Angel is been a successful Vegas magician. He decided to purchase a restaurant that was struggling out there in the desert. He's renamed it. Now, before I get into the name of the restaurant, I will say he is going to use this new establishment to help with local youth job program. He's going to do a free meal outreach program to families that are in financial need and families of pediatric cancer patients. So he's going to use the restaurant to do something good. Which I think is great. Now, the only thing is, I don't think he really thought the whole restaurant thing through. I think we should, if you're out 60 miles outside of Las Vegas, you come across this place, you should support it because they're doing cool stuff. But it's kind of all over the place. It kind of sounded like he made the purchase without kind of thinking through really the value proposition of this restaurant. If you're Criss Angel, okay, and you purchase a restaurant, don't you think you want to go for something like obviously magic themed in the or like at least some sort of allusion, no pun intended, to hey, this is a Criss Angel restaurant. Any ideas what this restaurant's called?
So it isn't. I mean, it's not magic related. It's not Criss Angel.
I mean, I would think it'd be something like like the House of Cards or something like that. But
Dune
Buddies. That would be it. Yeah, those are all fantastic names. It is spelled CABLT. CABLT, and it's pronounced Kablip. Okay, the restaurant is called Kablip, so it happens to be an acronym for Criss Angel Breakfast, Lunch, and Pizza. It's kind of all over the place, like Criss Angel. That could be the sales pitch. Like that could be the elevator pitch. Hey man, it's a restaurant that I own that sells breakfast, lunch, and pizza. But Kablip, like that's not really drawing me in here. I will say this: he, in addition to breakfast, lunch, and pizza, which those are the main menu items there,
the 3 meals.
Yeah, the 3 meals in the life of any Vegas Las Vegas Strip magician. His breakfast, lunch, and pizza. I mean, he's got his essentials covered, but he's also promising to serve something that's called it's a cocktail called the Mind Freeze. That's more the lane I'm looking for. It's cool
that makes sense.
Mind freak stuff. So
sure,
food freak.
Yeah, food freak. There you go. So, Criss Angel, I appreciate what you're doing. If you're listening, consider a rebrand because it's a little confusing. But if I'm out that way, I will gladly stop in, depending on the time of day. If it's in the evening, maybe I'll throw back on a Mind Freeze and have some pizza. If it's breakfast or lunch, I'll just keep it.
Can you call it the Dine Freak? That would make sense, right? Everybody loves dining. Yeah.
Oh, because it sounds like mind. Dine. Okay,
yeah,
I got it.
Kind of. That's off the dome. It's better than Kablip.
I was going to say, your guys' first time hearing about this, you've already come up with 4 better names. Okay, one other slice that is a little bit more depressing. The folks over at the research agency YouGov have evidently ascertained everything they possibly can by surveying the American people
today.
Because they have released the findings of a new study. And I don't know who commissioned it. And I didn't really want to know, to be honest. Like, I feel like the more I knew about the people behind this, the more disturbed I would be. So I just want to read the results. They've decided to poll the American people to find out which animals they feel like they could beat in a fight if humans are unarmed.
Great story.
Topping the list are animals that I feel like, we humans just would have a natural size advantage if for some reason it came down to hand-to-hand combat. So like at the top of the list are a lot of people believing they could beat a rat in a fight. Here's an interesting one. Only 69% of people said that they could beat a house cat in a fight. Who are the over 30% of the American population that is not confident that they could beat a house cat in a fist fight? Like what? Maybe they just have. Maybe that's the percentage of people with like a chronic cat allergy or something that would just be rendered incapacitated before the fight even started.
They blow
The
up.
throat swells up. The eyes are the eyes get
They
all
can barely
swollen.
see. They can barely see. They can barely see.
They're sneezing all over the place.
61% are pretty confident about a goose in a fight. Again,
Those things are scary, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mediums.
A motivated goose, I'm not confident that I can take out a motivated.
I was chased as a 2-year-old by a goose at a city park. And I mean, that's bigger than you. And they're mean and aggressive. It was like a junkyard goose. It was like, it had like the warts all over the thing. It was like, it was angry. It was like clipped feather. It was like dirty. And like, I was trying to feed it bread as a little kid at the park. And it was like, rah! And it started chasing me. And I'm like, I still remember it. I mean, that's like
beat that goose down.
I was two.
I don't care. I'm not gonna live my life getting beat up by a goose, bro. Like that's just not gonna be part of my story.
There's motivated.
So I'm bringing some geese to Wyoming. You're gonna see.
When we get to, so it falls below medium. It falls below 50% of people who are confident in their barehanded fighting ability when you hit medium-sized dog, eagle, large dog. I think most people, push come to shove, could probably handle their business if they're attacked by an eagle. Okay,
because it can fly, bro. Like if it's flying down, pecking at
and
you,
the talons and the
man.
It's a predator.
Yeah, wingspan is larger than me. They can carry me aloft and drop me off, from the sky.
Well, look, when you get to the bottom of the list, the numbers fall off pretty dramatically. But there are a shocking number of Americans who believe that they can beat in a fist fight the following animals. A chimpanzee. You would absolutely lose to a chimpanzee.
Nope, no
They're
way.
strong enough to rip a door off the hinges, okay? Chimps are no joke. And they go straight for the face.
Done.
That is their move. They go for the eyes, face, and let's just say this, other sensitive areas. I don't need to dude, chimps fight dirty, okay? Do not mess with a
think
chimp.
how strong their hands are and that grip would be if it got on your throat.
Yeah, they fight dirty, king cobra, kangaroo,
No way.
wolf.
No.
Okay, crocodile, gorilla, elephant, lion, grizzly bear. There is still there are 6% of the population that think they could beat a grizzly bear. 6%, 8%, 8%.
Are you saying in hand-to-hand combat, or I have a tool or a weapon?
Hand-to-hand combat.
Mono
That's
a
crazy.
bear.
6% of Americans are delusional freaks.
Delusional.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
8% say they could take a lion. 8% say gorilla. 9 crocodile. I think honestly, if push come to shove, like if it's life or death, me in a cage with a crocodile, I think I'm taking the crocodile.
Well, you heard about the girl that stuck the finger up the nose of the croc or whatever, or alligator, right? And that stops them from fighting you. Yeah. So it was a little girl that she had got, I guess, dragged under, and she stuck her finger in the nose, and the alligator let her go. But that doesn't mean you would win. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, are we talking survive or kill?
Beat.
Well, an alligator, I know this in Florida, the difference between an alligator and a croc are how they open and close their mouths, right? So an alligator doesn't have much strength to open its jaws. Its strength is in the muscles to collapse. So you can literally hold the jaw of an alligator shut with your hands. So you could, in theory, wrap yourself around him, keep his mouth shut, and pummel him until he dies. I would feel more confident.
But I feel like it's a war of attrition at that
any
point.
of the other ones.
I feel like if you're just trying to hold an alligator's mouth shut with one hand and pummel it to death, I feel like it's just a
matter of time.
Who dies of exhaustion first? You or the crocodile? Because
well, a crocodile is different. A crocodile you can't hold a crocodile's mouth shut. Its jaws like have this strength in the other direction. And so that's a big difference between alligators and crocodiles. So crocodiles, you're done.
I have a lot of questions about this research. Like I said, I don't believe that 31% of the population is it does not believe that they can fight a house cat. Okay. But I also think there are a lot of delusional people who I hope never encounter a grizzly bear because they seem extremely confident that they can just attack it and beat the and send that give that grizzly a lesson. But I'm also very curious about what's going on at YouGov right now, because even their names suggest that this has something to do with the government. Like, this is called YouGov. Like, a lot of their research has had to do with politics and policy and socioeconomic issues. Who at the government is interested in this information? And more disturbingly, why are they interested in this information? Like, if a government official needs quick data on how many Americans can beat certain animals in fistfights, I think this is something to be concerned about. What department commissioned this study, and what will the eventual purposes be? I don't know, but I do feel like we should be worried a little bit more about that element of the story. But I don't know. This seems like just one to keep an eye on, especially when we're starting to get polled. Things are, it could be a red flag that things are getting bad. Not just, global instability, coming out of a pandemic, economic uncertainty. When the government starts polling its people about which animals they think they can win in fistfights, that should be a red flag that maybe we should be a little bit concerned about the state of the world right now.
Heather, you showed me this survey this morning, and it was a surveying website called YouGov, but it's not a government website. Is that correct? It was YouGov.
It's not government run, but like Jesse said, it was ostensibly designed to survey Americans' political opinions, which I guess that's sort of the relevance might be. These people do vote, so we need to be aware that 6% of voters think they could beat a grizzly bear in a fight. That does seem like it has some effect on public policy, probably.
Maybe it's what we were talking about before the show, that like things are just so boring now. We don't have any government leaders like inciting so much stress and anxiety on America. That is like, let's just see what else people are thinking about
Kamala
other
Harris
things.
Isn't saying anything crazy. We need something we got to get clicks somehow.
Maybe it's a young politician who's like, I really need to make an impression with the American people. I have to beat up an animal that most Americans feel like they can't beat up. Take a poll and find out. And if I'm fist fighting a grizzly bear, I need to start practicing now because election season's coming.
All right, Tyler, what do you got?
All right, I'll try to keep this quick, and I think we can get through it pretty fast here. But I'm surprised a little bit at whose side I'm taking in this upcoming showdown between a private company and the U.S. government. So Facebook, you guys might be familiar with it, has announced plans to create what it's calling right now Instagram for Kids. Late last week, they say they want to create a platform that would be safe for people under the age of 13. Since they have made this announcement, attorney generals from 44 states and territories have urged the tech company to abandon the plan, citing the negative effects social media has on kids, as well as Facebook's less than stellar reputation for protecting children on its platform. The attorney generals all signed a statement that said use of social media can be detrimental to the health and well-being of kids who are not equipped to navigate the challenges of having a social media account. The attorneys general have an interest in protecting our youngest citizens, and Facebook's plans to create a platform where kids under the age of 13 are encouraged to share content online is contrary to that interest. And to this, Mark Zuckerberg basically says, I don't care. We're doing it anyway. You can't stop us, which is probably technically true. And the argument that they seem to have is, well, kids are using social media one way or the other, so why don't we create a platform that's tailored for them to try to keep them safe instead of letting them just kind of run amok in the wild west of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. online. So I don't, as a non-parent, as I think the only non-parent on the pod right now, how do you guys feel about a social media platform by Facebook designed for the kids alone?
Hey kids, I'm good on that. They just don't need social media. Because I mean, think about what you talked about when you were younger. Like, it's not as though like it being for kids is going to make it any less ratchet. I think it might even be even more ratchet just because kids don't really have a filter. Like, I'm like, nah. Well,
I think it's more of the privacy thing because Facebook has done Facebook Messenger for kids. There's an app for kids to like chat with their friends on Facebook Messenger, and it's specifically for kids. and it has high privacy. There's no like data collection of the kids. There's no advertising, stuff like that. I think that's what they're talking about, is creating a little bit more of a limited commercialized zone for kids
sure.
only.
But I'm just saying, I guess for me, I'm just worried about like, I guess I'll put it this way. We used to let our kids watch YouTube for kids or whatever.
Yeah.
And you would think you just give them the iPad and they could just, watch whatever. Well, one day my son was watching it and the most raunchy thing had flashed across. And I guess it was somebody that was kind of targeting kids. And like, I looked down, like, son, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like what's happening right here? So I guess my fear is, in any circumstance, I know personally, I just wouldn't want my kids on social media to have any access to a world where, it's hard to watch what's going on. Because people are weird. My thing is
like, if you create an environment for children, the predators will infiltrate, like incognito. And I think it's like the more nefarious things. It's like, hey, all the things you want are right here, and they can like target the children. Whereas, if you don't isolate the children like that, then it's tougher to target them with predators.
The other thing too is like grown-ups have the ability to kind of self-curate, where it's like, look, if I'll just follow who I want to follow. I'll filter out what I want to filter out. I'll look at what I want to look at. Kids, a lot of them don't have the aptitude for that, And to your point, Derek, like, 1 minute a kid's watching a trailer for a new superhero movie. The next minute they're watching some weird homemade video that, the person's in a Spider-Man costume that looks like one of those shady, dirty costumes that's like a knockoff that people in like Times Square wear where they're trying to take pictures with, you know what I mean? Like there's no quality control standards. There's no, I don't know who this person is. I don't know why they're in a knockoff Mickey Mouse costume dancing with a fake Spider-Man and what message they're trying to tell to kids while also trying to manipulate YouTube algorithms for ad revenue. It just doesn't seem, beyond it not seem like a good idea, it doesn't seem like anything that will add value to the lives of the targeted users, who in this case are children.
Yeah. All right, Derek, what do you got?
Yeah, so I've said this before, but it's official now. Government saying UFOs are real, and they're about to declassify a lot of the stuff that, has been under classification. So it's about to get serious. So serious that Marco Rubio, well, I don't know how serious you take him, but he's talking about we really need to, take this UFO thing serious. So I was like, okay, well, when you say UFOs, like in my mind, I'm instantly thinking like maybe like could be a drone, could be, you know what I mean? It could be something like from China or whatever. But when I read when they interviewed this corporal, what he was saying, he said, imagine a technology that can do 600 to 700 G forces, that can fly at 13,000 miles an hour, and can even evade radar, that can fly through air and water and possibly space. Oh, and by the way, has no obvious signs of propulsion, no wings, no control surfaces, and yet can still defy the natural effects of Earth's gravity. That's precisely what we're talking about. When I read that, I was like, oh, it's that advanced. Like, it's not just something we don't recognize. It's very advanced. So, man, this is going to be a very interesting time for us.
I have a theory about all of this, and this is something I think about a lot, and I've created other content around it, and something I've researched pretty heavily. And do you guys want my theory?
Please,
yes.
Please. Yes.
You podcast about this. Yes, please.
So I think, the most obvious, the implications of this is because this technology is so light years advanced from us, quite literally. I mean, things are almost moving observably at the speed of light, that it has to be something not of terrestrial origins, right? Like, we don't know how it works. These are these objects that our military is encountering. Our generals don't know what they are. They are able to, bounce around the sky in ways that we don't understand and submerge themselves in water without breaking the surface of the water. It's very odd, right? And this is stuff that they have on video and that they're acknowledging are real. So I think it's easy to make the assumption that it is aliens or intelligent life. My personal theory, I don't think that is implausible. I think it's certainly possible, right? It's a big universe. We don't know what's all out there. My personal opinion, and after kind of, I read this great book by a journalist named Annie Jacobson, who wrote about the history of Area 51. She's nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. She went to an Ivy League school. She's a very bright person. And after reading that book, I'm pretty convinced that our government has been in possession of technology that is far, far advanced from what we understand as consumers. And I think for decades, the government or agencies within the government have been experimenting with aviation technology that doesn't operate like traditional aircraft and things operate. I think they are, really for a long time have been experimenting with things that operate more with like quantum principles than physics principles. And that may explain some of these, crazy maneuvers. But I also think that this, personally, I think we have to be open to the idea that this technology is so potentially dangerous that it must be kept secret, not just from adversaries, but from, even forces within our traditional military, just because of the implications of what this technology could unleash. And I think they've been experimenting with it a long time, and it's, but now that stuff has been captured on video, now that there's confusion, I personally think that these Pentagon officials who made an appearance on 60 Minutes and that kind of drummed up a lot of this attention, I personally think they are either knowing or unknowing parts of a misinformation campaign to make people assume that this technology is extraterrestrial, because doing that accomplishes two things. One, it kind of strikes uncertainty and fear in military adversaries. Like other countries are like, well, it's not there, so who knows. But it also protects the secrecy of whatever this technology is. That's my take, though I'm certainly open to the idea of aliens. It also seems plausible, knowing the history of disinformation campaigns, that this is a likely possibility.
You said all that a couple months ago when we talked about the footage that came out, and I'm curious. So you don't think that this new footage that prompted Derek's item, you don't think that changes anything that you just said?
I think this just is more confirmation to that fact. I think that this was intelligent life. I mean, there's no, there's no. It doesn't seem to be any effort to communicate with us. They're just kind of zipping around. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of intentionality. Do you think
they're test flights?
Well, the other thing too,
society.
And the last season of this podcast I did called Hiding Something, which looks at the methodology of intelligence officials to kind of sway public opinion. They admit now that in the 1960s, they were planting people within the UFO community to plant disinformation, because some people within that community actually witnessed experimental aircraft outside of Area 51. So the government went to extreme lengths to gaslight these people to make. There was one guy who was a military veteran who called the military, who lived not far from Area 51. This is in the late 70s, and said, "Look, I saw something. I need to tell you guys about it. I'm doing my American duty here." They knew full and well that what this guy saw was actually experimental aircraft that they were working on, but they told him that it was aliens. And this guy went to the UFO community. They were tapping his phones, like doing weird voices in his phones to think he was being contacted. Our own government did that as a disinformation campaign. The poor guy ended up being institutionalized because of paranoia. They are capable.
Playing,
that is a true story, and like the history of intelligence work is full of stories like this. Because
Jesse, your eyes are wide open. You're in danger. You are out here in the media saying the truth.
Or maybe I'm part of the disinformation campaign. Mm-hmm. They call it black propaganda. It's a really interesting.
Okay.
I mean, black propaganda.
Why is it
campaign.
Be black propaganda?
I mean, propaganda is black.
Oh, that's true. He should change his name to Black Propaganda. All right. Well, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, Sho Baraka joins us.
We don't cook and we don't fix. Summer wine is
listening to Kid Francescoli. The song is Blow Up. Well, our guest today is Sho Baraka. He's a rapper, artist, author, and co-founder of the AND campaign. His work combines his artistic platforms with his academic history to contribute a unique perspective, elevating the contemporary conversation on faith, art, and culture. He has a brand new book called He Saw That It Was Good, Reimagining Your Creative Life to Repair a Broken World, which suggests that creativity is more than a hobby or even a passion, but one of God's tools to redeem creation. We talked to Sho about his own creative journey and what it might mean for us to reimagine what it means to be creative. Here's our conversation with Sho Baraka.
Wake up! I'm Palace Roman, I'm Moses in most of my moments. It's hard to find yourself in the land of your opponents. Your brothers might trip you, so keep your feet stable. Avoid walking with canes, everybody ain't able. I catalog my losses, but I'm walking in victory. I see what you love by where you're putting your energy. What's your identity, apart from white supremacy? Do you love yourself or do you just envy your enemy? Let me suggest, I am far from oppressed. I am nobody.
We look at Genesis 1, we think about God creating humanity, and He created us to create in some sort of way. And being creative is not just for artists. We all create in some form or fashion. So whether you're a teacher, a stay-at-home parent, an engineer, artist, et cetera, a politician, you create something. You are reaching for results. And so this book is, how can we walk through this book and communicate the different ways in which people have used their creativity for good or for detriment? And so I try to capture that through story. How do we use story as a means to shape identity and culture? How do we use work and vocation as a way to do that? How has justice and the fight for justice done that? How have people disagreed in their forms of creating and cultivating and yet still seem to be harmonious or, charitable within the particular subgenre of Christian culture, or Christian music and Christian hip hop? Yeah. What are some things that need to be done in order for us to create good economic status, or economic elevation, social status, better education, just better platforms for folks who are on the margins? How can we create better art as Christians and not censor art and creativity? And then the last chapter is basically an assessment of how we can be better creators and cultivators on a daily basis. However, what some people may not know is that there are fiction pieces within the book. So between particular chapters, there are short stories and poems that I wrote.
When I say persecution, we ain't talking about no violence, dude. What they really want to do is try to silence you. I believe the best of my values and ethics, but my cynicism tells me that your values are reckless. Information, I just need some information. I've been dying, is it lack of education? I've been reading without any transformation. I'm addicted.
So for this particular audience that'll be reading this, listening to this podcast, reading us on Relevant, where do you see these communities going wrong and how they create and what you're talking about here? What are some of the frequent missteps that you've observed?
Yeah, in the book, I detail a few, like I said, like in story and the fight of the view of what justice is. I think the misstep is oftentimes is that when you control narratives, you often don't know how the stories you form affect and impact other people. And so what I challenge us to do is to consistently castigate our work. Paul talks about it in 2 Corinthians, I think, where he says to continue to evaluate yourself and your salvation to make sure, you're in right standing with the Lord. And I think there are often times, and I use this a quick example. They made me take most of it out the book, but you think about a pimp and a prostitute. Everybody, most Christians, better yet, will see that the work of a pimp is demoralizing and is degrading, not only to the prostitute, but to himself. And we see that as a vocation that is unhealthy. And most Christians would say you need to find different work. And we would ask that sister to stop selling her body and try to help liberate her, give her a better job, put her on a trajectory towards, as we would say, probably a more dignifying work. And I would say rightfully so. However, I also talk about in the book how somebody who does payday lending could walk into a church, and we wouldn't bat an eye on that because they seem to have their life together. They manage their money well. Not only will we not challenge their work and their vocation, we would probably give them some sort of role and responsibility in a church, some sort of eldership. When payday loans destroy communities where you're taking advantage of people. It may be legal in many states, but yet and still, it's clearly a means that creates poverty. It creates a cycle of poverty in a lot of communities. And you target people who are in some dire needs. And so that's a way of evaluating how you may think your work is good, but how you may be creating towards the detriment of a society.
So you're talking about just a not just because it's a very big deal, but broader, more systemic understanding or interrogation maybe of what is good and what are these people actually creating with their work.
Yes, and that good is not always fixed. I talk about heroes and villains, and oftentimes we see them as caricatures, like in cartoons. Like evil is always easily identifiable, and but in the real world, that's not the case. You know, sometimes evil is very enticing, it's very tempting, and oftentimes heroes can become villains, and villains can become heroes. Talk about Tony Stark, one of my favorite. I love Iron Man. I love Marvel Comics. I love the MCU. But one of the interesting things about Tony Stark is Tony Stark is Iron Man. Iron Man is a superhero who flies over the world. But ultimately, Iron Man is solving all the problems that Tony Stark creates. You know what I'm saying? And I say, like, at the end of the day, Christians often get on planes and go save the world doing missions work. But they just did better work. If we had a better view of theology at work, then we wouldn't have to get on planes. You know, we wouldn't cause as much problems with our hammer and with our calculators and with our spreadsheets, because we're viewing our vocational output and our dispositions with great fear and trembling, and we're always asking, is what I'm doing good?
Hello, love. Today the delegation votes. Today we must determine who is our future foe. I just left the meeting, I got permission to go, so I choose to use this time to write you a quick note. We've really made progress on pushing through some policies, dealing with misogyny, boosting up our economy, removing nationalism and private prisons, racism, corrupt business.
That was Sho Baraka. Make sure to check out his new book, And He Saw That It Was Good. It's available now. Stay tuned. Up next, it's Relevant News.
Feeling lonely. Oh, I bet you wanna hold me. I bet you feeling lonely. Oh, I bet you do. She call you hypnotica. God knows I couldn't read your mind.
You're listening to Coin. It's their new one, Hypnotica. Okay, it's time for
Relevant News.
All right, what's going on this week, Tyler Huckabee?
We're going to talk about something that's happening that is starting to on the track to make its way to the Supreme Court that has potential to be a fairly significant decision, depending on which way it goes, that would have an enormous amount of repercussions for Roe v. Wade, for the state of abortion here in the U.S. So on Monday, the Supreme Court announced that it will review Mississippi's restrictive abortion ban. This is one of those heartbeat bills that bans most abortions after 15 weeks. Now, pro-life advocates see this as a very key, potentially very key to a serious diminishment of Roe v. Wade, possibly even overturning it. So Mississippi is one of several states that passed a slew of abortion bills that really narrowed the window for when a woman can legally terminate her pregnancy. And now, in many cases, banning abortion after 15 weeks effectively amounts to banning abortion outright, sort of a de facto abortion ban, since most women don't really realize they're pregnant until afterwards. Pro-choice advocates have been able to argue that these bans don't square with Roe v. Wade, and so those bills have survived. None of those bills have survived lower courts. But now the Supreme Court is going to take up this case to re-examine, and this is from their decision, whether, quote, all pre-viability prohibitions on abortion are unconstitutional. If the Supreme Court finds that Mississippi is within its rights to place such limitations on the legal window for abortion, that would really weaken Roe v. Wade, even without overturning the decision completely. It might kind of leave Roe v. Wade in place, but make it pretty ineffective as far as a law goes, since states would have a huge amount of ability to determine when and how abortion could be legally allowed. Now, pro-life advocates have long known that heartbeat bills don't really survive legal challenges, but they've continued to mount these efforts in its hopes that someday the Supreme Court would take one of these cases up. And now, with the Supreme Court,
right?
Right. And now that's why they're feeling pretty good about this, with a very conservative Supreme Court following the introduction of Justices Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. Activists are feeling good about the decision going their way. Kavanaugh and Barrett replaced Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Anthony Kennedy, and their rulings protected Roe v. Wade for quite a while. So this will be interesting. Public opinion remains very mixed on abortion right now in the U.S. It remains very much kind of a toss-up. 28% of Americans, including 51% of Republicans and 13% of Democrats, want Roe v. Wade overturned. 64% think Roe should stand with some sort of different, with some nuances added, maybe more protections one way or the other. So the decision still a little ways down the road, probably won't come till July of next year, but definitely going to be a very big case with a lot of people watching it when that finally does happen in the summer. And curiously, at least I think, surprising that the Supreme Court is going to pick this one up before the midterms, because I think that could have a huge amount of repercussions for how both the parties in the U.S. try to strategize for mounting re-election campaigns and all. So something that you will want to be aware of and we'll obviously be covering at the site.
I heard the significance of this is that the Roe v. Wade definition is viability. So if in the womb, if the baby is viable to survive outside of the womb, then abortion is prohibited. But up to that point, it's legal. And what's interesting, I heard discussed, is that this setting it instead of a vague term like that, because medical advancements have been so significant in the last 50 years since the law was enacted, that viability has gotten earlier and earlier and earlier. And so that's a moving target. And so that the Supreme Court might rule on the side of state by state, states kind of defining their own moment of quote unquote viability. And that 14 weeks is approved in Mississippi, and that it would open the door for other conservative states to say, well, then our state's 12 weeks, and our state's 6 weeks, and our state's whatever, because we got really great doctors and you can't tell us, so it's not viable at that point. And so, like that, it would basically, like you said, state by state, close the door on it. There's one abortion clinic in Mississippi, and they're saying like, yeah, this would, basically close us if this was approved. Yeah. So
it's been interesting to watch the target move and that. And when I was younger, I remember the dream of pro-life groups being to overturn Roe v. Wade. That is less and less the goal, since Roe v. Wade is obviously pretty hard to overturn.
It, right? They're trying to limit it.
You can take the spine out of it. And states have gotten pretty strategic about how they're doing that. And this would be, if this goes their direction, then it would be a big deal.
And they were even waiting, and this is true. A lot of these bills have been sitting there, and the pro-life advocacy groups have not tried to push them or challenge, whatever. Like even the ACLU hasn't been fighting because they didn't want them to go up to the Supreme Court until the Supreme Court was staunchly conservative. And so I think in hindsight, the big history of things, say what you will about President Trump's administration, from a conservative pro-life agenda, the 3 judges that he appointed, tilting the court for a generation, essentially, will be pretty much the legacy of his administration. And it's just interesting to see that nuance. And that's really why so many evangelical leaders ignored all the moral, chaos things that he did, because he was giving them the judges that they wanted to be able to take the steps that are now starting to happen. It's interesting.
I think the danger there, though, and the easy trap to fall into, it's not dissimilar at its core to what we were talking about earlier, where, the human mind is made to gravitate towards simple solutions, not overly complex ones. And to see the Roe v. Wade being overturned as some magic bullet, like we did it pro-life, abortion's over. But that's how it's been, that's how, to some degree, it's been positioned for a lot of people, that this is the end game of the fight is overturning Roe v. Wade, right? Like, even if people weren't explicitly saying that, I feel like a lot of us grew up under those implications. And to your point, elect whoever we need to, because this is the singular goal. But in reality, if Roe v. Wade gets overturned, all that does is mean that access to abortion is no longer guaranteed. That doesn't mean it's over. That doesn't mean abortion is now legal. It means that, access is not constitutionally guaranteed. And there's going to be a whole nother legal fight after this one. And likely after that, a whole nother legal fight. And that's why I think it's important to remind people who are passionate about this issue that unless there are other pro-life initiatives that are running in parallel that are statistically shown to decrease the number of abortions, then the legal fight's never going to end. And even when it does,
there's economic, there's prevention, there's education, there's also adoption
social
barriers,
programs,
like lower, like social programs. I mean, to adopt a kid from a mother in distress is $10,000. Make it free. I mean, that kind of stuff. There's going to be a lot of changes systemically and holistically that need to happen. Don't just go after the law.
Yeah, exactly. Because the other thing too is the law makes it illegal, but making something illegal doesn't mean people won't do it or seek to do it. I mean, just look at the outcome of the war on drugs. How's that gone? You know what I mean? It's been a big disaster, and it's probably dramatically set back.
History is shining a very different light on just say no.
Well, and not only does it have profound negative social impacts when you look at mass incarceration, it is also so dramatically set back significant medical developments in the field of neurology and treatment of trauma and PTSD that people are like, hey, wait, these substances that naturally occur in nature that it's been illegal to study may actually be able to help people who are suffering from mental illness. People are now beginning to realize that there's a danger just to thinking we can legislate away problems without looking at the moral complexities of them.
All right, that'll do it for
Relevant News.
For more of what we're covering at the intersection of faith and culture every day, make sure to follow Relevant on all the socials. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and get our Relevant Today newsletter. Sign up at relevantmagazine.com and gives you our top 5 trending stories every morning. It's a good way to keep in touch with what we've got going out every day. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's our Quarterlife Conversation with author Jennifer Dukes Lee.
What if life is all about giving back the love we found? I'm so tired of scream and shout. We're all drinking from that dried up river. We haven't talked in quite a while.
You're listening to The Lone Bellow. The song is Dried Up River. Well, if you've been following along for the last couple months, we've been doing a new content series called Quarterlife, specifically focused on the issues and topics you're tackling in your 20s. We've been talking about everything from career to faith, relationships, mental health, and so much more from well-known authors, entrepreneurs, faith leaders, and others. We're doing Quarterlife to encourage and inspire you to make the most out of this season, live it well, be intentional about it. The series is presented by our friends at UHSM. As we're rethinking everything in our quarter life, maybe rethink your healthcare as well. Check out what UHSM is doing at uhsm.com/care. It's awesome. It's revolutionary, and we appreciate their support. Well, our Quarterlife Conversation guest today is Jennifer Dukes Lee. She's an author and speaker whose fast-paced life as a journalist was transformed when she learned the value of saying no to hustle culture and embracing a slower lifestyle. She's concerned about our culture's rush to, quote, return to normal after COVID. And she thinks that this is a great opportunity to imagine a newer, better normal that leaves more margin for our mental, emotional, and spiritual health. She talked to us about her own journey to rejecting the hustle and gives practical tips on how to carve out time in your day to become a healthier person. Here's our conversation with Jennifer Dukes Lee.
why do you think we default to a position of hurry? Why is that I feel like when left to my own devices, when not being deliberate and intentional, I default to stress, to overbooking myself, to saying yes to too many things, and to not growing slow. What is that in me that's pushing me that direction?
Our culture is a very output-oriented, metrics-based culture that we live in that rewards what seem to be overnight successes, when that's a whole nother story. There is no such thing as an overnight success. Even somebody like on The Voice has had years of training, most likely, to get to where they are. So I think to not to buy into this idea that there are milestones or that you have to hit at some certain point in your life. You know, at almost every stage and decade of life, you can buy into the idea that I'm falling behind. So I have friends who are in high school, and they are friends of my daughters, and they feel like they're falling behind because they don't know what they're going to do with the rest of their life, as if a 16-year-old should know what she should do at age 30. And then if they go to college, they feel like I've got to get a spouse before all the good ones are taken, and that there's this milestone. And then it becomes about milestones related to having a child and another child and a house. I got to buy a house, and now I got to buy a bigger house, and it needs this much of a garage, and then I got to get a lake house. So there's always something next level. And there really are no milestones for these things, but that's where the pressure comes from. And so it really has less to do with what's on the to-do list and more about how we approach what's happening in our life right now and the expectations that we set on ourselves for what should be coming in the next year or 5 years or whatever that benchmark is for you.
So for you, what did that look like? Because I think it's one thing to be like, I got to slow down, which I think a lot of people would probably say, yeah, I could do with a little less stress in my life. But actually making that the gulf between wanting to do that and actually making that part of your life, I think for many people, including sometimes, frankly, myself, can feel very, very difficult.
I think the thing is that we have this idea that in order to get the life we want, we have to chase it down. But honestly, hand to the sky, the way to get the life you want is not to chase it down, but to slow it down. To begin to validate the good small things that are growing in your lives right now. These things that are happening right now that God has planted in our lives and that He is using us to plant in the lives and ministries and businesses and the people all around us, and to validate those things. And so it does really take a reversal of philosophy, adopting a whole new mindset toward growing slow and believing that it's possible. Growing slow is a way of single tasking your life, and it's a way of adopting sets of habits. And I can share some of those very practical things we can do. But you first have to decide to buy in on this philosophy that growing slow is not going to wreck your life.
Do you mind sharing a few practical things? Obviously, I want people to buy the book, so don't give the whole thing away right now. No spoilers, but give me just a few top shelf ones.
Absolutely. So there are so many grow slow habits that you can adopt. And some of them we don't have to complicate this. I mean, most of them are pretty simple things that you could do today, like sitting down while you eat. A lot of people, especially at breakfast and dinner, are standing up, taking bites, eating so quickly that they can't even taste the food. If God gave us something so beautiful as food with flavor, let's sit down and enjoy and taste it. Another thing is not to look at your phone at the stoplight. And I say these things because I did these things, or in the line at Target, because what happens is you end up with a hurried heart. Something urgent comes in on your phone that you really can't in any practical way answer or resolve in that moment. Yeah. So that urgent thing is hanging around the edge of your heart in the form of hurry, and it creates a sort of anxiety that you can't tend to or fix until you get back home. Another thing is to wake up 10 minutes earlier to set the tone for your day, to sort of welcome the day in whatever way that looks like. I talked to a woman this morning and she says, oh, I do that. And it's made a difference. And what she does is she walks out every morning and she waters the hydrangea bushes in front of her house. These are simple things, but it's a way of saying, I'm going to take charge of this day and set a tone for it that is less hurried. And I'm going to be the boss of my life instead of letting all these to-dos and all these responsibilities control your entire mindset.
That That was Jennifer Dukes Lee. Make sure to get her new book, Growing Slow. It's out now. And also check out more of that conversation over in the Quarterlife section at relevantmagazine.com. Hey, while you're there at Quarterlife, you can grab our free ebook. It's called the Quarterlife Handbook, and it has great advice from a wide range of leaders and innovators and influencers, from Shauna Niequist to Scott Harrison and so many more. It was just the whole range of people is amazing. It's available for free at quarterlife.com. Thanks to UHSM. Okay, stay tuned. Up next, it's our new game. You won't want to miss it. It's great.
This week on Relevant Recommends, we're talking about the summer music festivals that should be on your radar in 2021. Lollapalooza, Coachella, Bonnaroo, and more are making their big comebacks and dropping their lineups. And we'll tell you which ones we're most interested in over at relevantmagazine.com.
I met the devil and I sold my soul. Got everything my heart desires. Sold my soul. Got everything I want.
You're listening to Shade. The song is High Dive. Okay, it is time for a new game.
International Blockbuster.
All right, this is called International Blockbuster. Now here, this game was compiled by our very own Tyler Huckabee, so he cannot play. So this is going to be a Jesse and Derek joint today.
Let's get it.
With this game.
Let's get it.
So here's the setup. The summer movie season is now upon us once again. Movie lovers are excited to get back into theaters, catch up on summer blockbusters like the upcoming Marvel's Black Widow, Lin-Manuel Miranda's In the Heights, the ninth entry in the Fast and the Furious franchise is coming up. Movies like these have become international sensations, becoming box office hits all over the world, okay? But what might be a catchy movie title in the U.S. doesn't always translate overseas, so film promoters in their countries are forced to get creative, coming up with new names that make sense in the local language and customs, okay? So in this game, we have taken the foreign translations of hit U.S. blockbusters and translated those titles back into English. And so you have to guess what the original movie actually is based on the retranslated name. Now, all of these movies I'm going to say are huge mega hits. You know them. You've probably seen them all, okay? So these aren't weird art house things. These are huge mega hits, all right? So what I'm going to do is say the translated name, and then between you, Derek and Jesse, whoever guesses it correctly first will win the point. So you're just going at it, just guessing until somebody's right. Got it?
Done.
All right. This is International Blockbuster. All right. First round. Here we go. The translated name is The Teeth from the Sea.
Jaws.
Oh, he got it right out the gate. Jaws. That was the translation from France. The Teeth from the Sea.
Derek's got one.
Can I be honest? Can I be honest?
Very
The
impressive.
teeth from the sea sounds way more terrifying because I'm picturing like disembodied teeth. I think I would be less freaked out. Real talk. If I'm at the beach, I see a shark fin. I'm like, oh, there's a shark out there. Better watch out, guys. If I see a bunch of teeth just wash up on the shore, I'm like, guys, we got to get out of here, man. This is a bunch of teeth just washed up, man.
I can take a shark, no problem. Hand-to-hand combat, me versus a shark. Easy. Teeth. It's over.
Teeth by itself as a problem.
There's some sort of psychotic dentist.
There's a bunch of teeth right there.
There's some sort of psychotic dentist bobbing around out there. I don't know where he's at. He's on some dinghy throwing teeth out. Sounds, Plus, that seems pretty. I don't want to swim with teeth. It's like finding a Band-Aid in the pool. Like, just shock it, shut it down for the day, shock it. If I found a tooth, forget it, man. I'm not swimming in that.
This one, you all have a 0% chance of getting, but this is a big movie. I'll even give you the origin country, okay?
Oh, wow.
Germany. This is the retranslation from German. The title is A Twin Seldom Comes Alone. A Twin Seldom Comes Alone. What movie is that?
A twin seldom comes alone.
Oh, man. I'm trying to think. Please tell me it's the movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. Please,
It's not.
Please tell me
guess.
it's
It's a good guess,
Twins
though, yeah.
with
That
Danny
makes sense.
DeVito and
It's
Arnold
not.
Schwarzenegger.
You're on the right track.
What a great plot for a movie, by the way. Hey, we got Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is this, Danish Adonis. And then you have Danny DeVito, who is, I think he just kind of owns his physique.
He looks like
Danny
Danny
DeVito.
DeVito. Let's just say it.
But
Yeah.
wait, they're twins. What's the movie called? It's
All right.
Twins. It's Twins.
A twin seldom comes alone. A clue, Tyler, maybe.
Think a little more aimed towards the kids.
Yeah, a family dynamic is involved.
Yeah, younger Disney.
Parent Trap, or with
Yes,
twins?
yes, a Parent Trap. Parent Trap. That's it. Jesse got it tied up 1-1. Here we go. All right.
Yeah, it sounds like a horror movie. It sounds
I
like
know,
a
right?
weird
I
movie
know.
where there's
Yeah.
like the movie poster. The movie poster is like a kid like standing next to their closet. Then you see like under the clothes in the closet another set of feet or something. You're like, what's going on?
Right.
Wait, this family thinks they have one kid. They actually have twins, and one of them's a psycho. I'd watch that probably. That
That's
sounds
when
pretty
seldom goes alone. Yeah, it's like people under the stairs or something, but it's about children.
Yeah.
All right. All right, here's one.
Sheesh.
The young people who traverse dimensions wearing sunglasses. It's France. Okay, the young people
Men in
who
Black.
traverse. Nope, the young people who traverse dimensions wearing
Back
sunglasses.
to the Future.
Nope,
Good guess.
The Lost
Young
Boys.
people.
nope.
Good guesses.
What country is this?
France. The young people who traverse dimensions wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, very oddly descriptive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, very oddly
Dimensions?
descriptive. name.
Maybe dimensions aren't like space and time, but more.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
No, the young people
no,
who traverse dimensions wearing sunglasses. I don't remember Rick Moranis' sunglasses in that one.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. bro.
you're
The Matrix.
yes, the Matrix.
Jesse.
The Matrix.
Jesse.
The Matrix
Who's in charge of titling movies over there?
in France.
That's wild.
The two French ones are like weird.
It would be like naming Home Alone, like the solitary boy with a propensity for violence and mischief. And you're like, that sounds like a fun holiday film.
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy. All right.
All right, here we go. This is also a French one. Mom,
Fred's
I
wild.
missed the plane. Mom, I missed the plane.
Is that Home Alone too?
It is Home Alone. It's Home Alone. Home Alone. I liked your title better.
I'm getting smoked.
So it's 3-1, right? 3-1. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm getting smoked.
All right. This one's from China. Ready? He's a ghost. There's an exclamation point. He's a ghost.
The Ghost or Ghost?
Please tell me that's Sixth Sense. Please. That
The
they
Sixth
just put the
Sense.
spoiler.
It's the Sixth Sense. They put the
they
spoiler
put
in.
the twist ending as the title.
That's
He's a ghost
crazy.
is the name.
That's crazy.
I couldn't believe it.
He's a ghost all along.
One of the greatest twist endings of all time. In the
And they
title.
just spoiled that.
Spell it out. You've got,
See, my
you've got
brain don't work that way.
You got a
I'm
picture of
just like,
Bruce
it's-
Willis, and it says he's a ghost over it. That's
He's
the
a
movie.
ghost over-
There it is.
Oh my gosh.
That's like calling the first Star Wars Darth Vader is the father of Luke Skywalker. A Star Wars tale.
He's the baby daddy.
All right, here we go. Also from China.
I'm getting
One
smoked.
night, big belly. One night, big belly.
One night, big belly.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Nope. Think comedy.
This has to be. Is this
I'm
the Santa
lost.
Claus?
Nope.
Oh, that's a good
though.
guess.
Yes,
That would
it's
be
a
good.
different direction comedy. It's maybe like a romantic comedy, maybe. One night, big belly.
I've never watched a rom-com.
An inappropriate
You
comedy, like Judd Apatow kind of.
40-year-old virgin.
You're in the range. You're in the range.
Knocked
Warmer.
up. Knocked up.
Knocked up. That's it. Knocked up. Yep. One night,
I
big
don't even
belly.
remember that movie.
They made it somehow sound less romantic. They made a one night stand sound somehow less romantic than Knocked Up. Like, I know that was the point of that film as like a cautionary tale about, reckless romance, or that was a sub thing. But I feel like Knocked Up seems pretty derogatory, but One Night Big Belly definitely sounds like it's trying to deter people from casual liaisons.
All it takes is one night, baby.
This one's from Spain. This one's right up Derek's alley. Night of the Night. The first word is KN.
Dark Night.
Yes, right.
The Dark.
There you go.
At least I got 2.
All right, here
Not
we
a
go.
bad title. Not a bad title.
Night of the Night. All right. This one is from Italy. If you leave me, I delete you. If you leave me, I delete you.
Unfriended?
Nope. That's good, though.
Good guess.
This is my dating life. If you leave me, I delete you.
Oh, gosh. If you leave me, I delete you.
Oh, man. Can you give us a genre? Like
indie? I would say indie. Quirky indie film. A big hit quirky indie film.
It's not Her, right?
No, but it would not in the sci-fi vein, but in that
Her is in
level
the
of
lane.
indie. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a well-known. It was a well-known comedian's like dramatic turn.
That's true. That's right.
The Truman Show?
A yellow van might be involved.
Is it Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless?
Eternal Sunshine.
Oh, Eternal Sunshine.
Eternal
of the Spotless
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Yeah.
Fair enough.
There you go. All right, here we go. A few more. This is from Hungary. Ready? The 8th passenger is death. This is a big movie.
Final Destination?
No. Think more 80s. A ship is involved, obviously, because they're on
there's a passenger.
I'm not saying a water ship. I'm saying a
Passenger
ship.
57?
No. Think more.
Wesley Snipes don't get no love.
Think more. Future Passenger 57. He's just.
I'm trying to think of any like space movies where
Airplane? Star Trek.
But Jesse's getting in that lane.
Start thinking space movies. Space movies is
big
good.
Classic. Maybe a scary space movie because death.
Alien?
Passengers. Yes.
Alien. There you go. Good one. There you go. Nice.
Did they get that out of
There's 7 people on the ship. The alien is going to kill them. Yeah.
There's 8 passengers.
Okay.
They think there's 7.
That was deep.
But the ace, in addition to being death, the 8th passenger is also an alien.
That's actually less of a spoiler than the Sixth Sense one. This like buries that the 8th passenger is an extraterrestrial.
The Sixth Sense one is like, he's a ghost. I mean, it's just like the idea of a Bruce Willis poster that says he's a ghost. It's just like blows my mind. It just blows
that's
my
bad.
mind.
That's bad, bro.
This one's from China as well. Interplanetary Unusual Attacking Team. Interplanetary Unusual Attacking Team.
Oh man, is that the Avengers?
Star Trek.
You're both in the lane, but
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes,
there you go.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
There you go. I knew Derek would come through.
That actually works.
That does
I kind of
work.
like Interplanetary Unusual Attacking Team. That's an improvement. Yeah, I would say that's a step
I
up.
was gonna say it's
Guardians of the Galaxy sounds like it's boring.
Galaxy's a big place.
Facts.
You can't guard the whole galaxy.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is from Japan. Wild Speed, Max. Wild Speed, Max.
Wild Speed Max? Speed?
Days of Thunder?
No, but race cars are involved.
Fast and Furious.
Yes. Fast and Furious.
Got you. Okay.
Actually, I think an improvement. Wild Speed Max. I would see that. It is pretty cool.
This is from Poland. 2 more. Here we go. Ready? Electronic Murderer.
Terminator.
Yes! Terminator! Man,
I was waiting for it. I was like, there has to be a Terminator in here somewhere.
Dude, just a swish.
That was crazy. All right, here we go. This is from France. Last one. Here we go. Very Bad Trip. Very Bad Trip.
The Hangover.
Yes!
Jesse got it.
You beat me to it. I was about to say it too.
There you go. The Hangover. All right. Well, that'll do it for the debut of
International Blockbuster.
How bad did I get my butt kicked? It was bad. Jesse, how many you got, bro?
It actually came out. You were just 1 behind in the end, Derek.
Oh no! It came to the end.
Yeah.
I gave the little traction. Okay, that's okay. That's all right.
I don't think that's it seems like an unfair title because if you stick around to the end credits, that seems like it was a pretty wild fun trip. I mean, it seemed like when you're watching the movie, man, this trip went south. But then you see that photo roll, you're like, oh, he's on the roof the whole time. They were just goofing. This is fine. Yeah. This is fine. You know.
All right. Well,
spoiler. That's like calling it a Hangover. He's on the roof the entire film. Like that would be the equivalent. Your buddy is on the roof of the casino. You want to go see this movie? It looks pretty great.
Well, before we wrap it up, I do want to thank Sho Baraka for joining us today. Make sure to check out his new book. He saw that it was good. It's fantastic. Also, thanks to Jennifer Dukes-Lee for being part of our Quarterlife Conversation. You can pick up a copy of her book, Growing Slow, wherever you buy your books. And make sure to check out more of that convo in the Quarterlife section at relevantmagazine.com, presented by UHSM. Also, while you're at the site, make sure to head over to the faith section where we have our new Deeper Walk devotional series. Every weekday morning, I should say, we have a brief devotional and scripture resources. We also have a Deeper Walk podcast. If you'd rather listen to your morning devotional, it's really well done. It's just a few minutes long. It's awesome to subscribe to. And the whole thing, Deeper Walk, is presented by Lumo. Lumo is a visual Bible. Check out their resources on the Lumo YouTube page, and also you can check out lumoproject.com. Many thanks to them for presenting Deeper Walk. On that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Tyler Huckabee.
All right, we will see y'all next week, but we're going to Wyoming.
Peace.
For listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
If I'm fist fighting a grizzly bear, I need to start practicing now.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Feeling under the weather? You can teledoc that. Actually, for almost everything health-related, checkups, check-ins, and everything in between, you can teledoc that. For your physical health or for your mental health, you can teledoc all that. We've got doctors, therapists, specialists, and coaches all available by web or app. Get started today at teledochealth.com. That's TELADOC health.com.